I love you guys.
Dance off, bro! I have the high ground!
Expecto Patronum!
39 days, 20 people, 1 survivor. Tribe of Nerds.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Sarah, Kevin, Cam, and I are back to talk about Pirates 3 at World's End, which this might be the most controversial movie that the four of us have reviewed together. So let's talk about it. So Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, the box office was 963.4 million, so less than Dead Man's Chest. And just shy of a billion.
Was it still the highest grossing movie of the year, though?
I'd have to look at that.
I think I saw that it was the highest grossing of the year.
Wouldn't surprise me. This was in 2007, I think I saw.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll have to check on that. But 44% by critics, so it was also rotten like Dead Man's Chest, apparently. And 72% from the audience, which I think is the same that the audience gave Dead Man's Chest. And then it was nominated for Best Makeup and Visual Effects at the Academy Awards that year. Did not win. And it was the most expensive film made to that point. So, which I'm not shocked by, just based on how much was going on in this movie, but with the set pieces and the VFX and stuff. But let's give our impressions. What are your guys' thoughts of At World's End before we dive into the entire movie?
What is not to love? What a great movie.
Wrong.
If you can't say that you like Endgame if you don't like Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End.
What?
It is the same thing. It is the
Endgame is
culmination
not
of
the same
everything
thing.
that they've built to. All the characters coming back and clashing. Oh, so good. And for all that they have to dump into this movie, they nail the pace, the humor, the story, the set pieces. Fantastic. Definitely stands above the first two, which is already a hard task enough. So read them and weep, kids. I think it's the best.
Nailed the pace. I am going to disagree completely.
However, I do have one negative thing. It does sometimes feel like certain things were cut out of the movie. Like I feel like I've watched like an extended version of this movie. It would just cut to scenes sometimes, and I was like, wait, weren't they?
I just want to clarify that I had a laugh so hard at you, Cameron, that I had to mute myself so people could still hear the nonsense you were spewing. Go on.
Anyways,
fine. Go on.
I had a great time. I enjoyed it, and the opening sequence, the best opener they've done in the since like, I mean, of the three that we've watched.
The child murder?
No. That came after.
Well, that's the opener. That is literally
it opens with like the boats and stuff, and they're in like that place, aren't they? Does it open with the kids?
Yes, it opens with the people getting hit, including the child.
Sorry, I'm confused then.
I mean,
there was a lot.
Watch the movie. The whole movie.
Right. Maybe if you had rewatched the movie.
Listen, the beginning of the movie was so long ago from the point that I got to the end, you know, so much. And
I know, because it was really
all good.
Yeah, there was stuff I don't agree with from what you said, Cameron, but we will get into that. Kevin, your thoughts. Let's let you go off.
Listen, last time I was nice and I said, you know what, I didn't fully understand it, but I would still give it a thumbs up. Wrong, false. This one's getting a thumbs down. If I'm a critic, it's getting a Rotten Tomato. This is a mess. Like, it feels like they just started the movie with, we want Will to be the new Davy Jones. And then they just made shit up in between. Like, I don't understand what's going on. How did we get to so many different points? And then like it requires like a very surface level like knowledge of everything for you to be like, oh yeah, I recognize that name. Like, oh yeah, Calypso, she must be important. But like not actually know anything about who Calypso is, right? Like it's all that. And it's just not good. It's just not good. I don't like it. The only thing that's good is the ending, and not just because of the ending, not like when a kid says that recess is their favorite part of the school day. Like the ending is good, but it's just that. But even the ending, even with that, like they have this big battle set up, and then it's just the two ships. What are the rest of the ships doing? Fight.
Yeah,
and then it's literally a sunny day, and they're just like,
let's
watch Cyclone.
I realized watching it that when literally two ships are blowing up Beckett's ship, it's literally just those two ships, the Pearl and the Dutchman.
It's just those three. There's like tons of ships around, and it's just those three. Like, where's everyone else? And like they're locked in the thing spinning around until the Pearl like breaks apart of the which that Pearl should have broken apart so many times, by the way. Like I am all for like
he's Captain Jack Sparrow.
And I'm all for like sure, things work because they work because of plot, but like there's no rules, there's no consistency. Like so many times things broke on the Pearl that like that ship should have sank so many times. Nothing gets fixed. It's never fixed. Like things are completely shattered and broken, but it's fine because the ship just keeps going. Like it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, the two ships are just like locked spinning around the Cyclone, and then they fire something up and they get out of it, and then they just like sail straight out of a fucking like what's the spinning thing that I can't even
have
think
you
of.
ever spun through a maelstrom, Kevin? I don't think so. You don't know. Maybe it's possible if you have the fastest ship in the sea. You don't know.
Cameron, it's a bad movie.
Okay, but did you have fun?
I mean, a couple times for a few minutes.
Imagine you're sitting in the movie theater, you got your popcorn, you're done that popcorn. That shit was so entertaining the entire time.
I'm done with that popcorn in the first 15 minutes and I'm lost as fuck.
Right, it's a long movie. He probably had to take so many naps in between watching it.
I know. I started the movie and it was like 2 hours and 50 minutes. I went,
this rewatch, I started to watch it on Thursday night, and I got to the part where they're in apparently Davy Jones's locker, which is just Jack on the Black Pearl going crazy, and I was like, nope, I'm done. Click off. I'll try this again tomorrow, and I went to bed.
All right.
Turns it on to the crabs carrying the ship. He's like,
yes.
We'll talk about that later. Sarah, what are your impressions?
Oh God, I have like a love-hate thing with this movie because again, obviously I love Pirates, so anything to do with like this franchise, I'm gonna watch it. So I mean I do like the movie overall for like what it is. It's in addition to the franchise, but there are so many things wrong with it. Again, the pacing is completely wrong. I do think a lot of that had to do with them because they filmed 2 and 3 like back to back sequentially. So like I feel like they ended the second one with, okay, we're going to lead this up to Will being Davy Jones. That's our plot for the third one. What else can we just throw the fuck in here? You know what I mean? To just get to that end point. I feel like there were so many scenes where I was like, okay, they're on a boat. What the fuck are we doing? Next thing I know, there's some other big scene that happens, and then they're on a boat again. And I'm just like, what the fuck happened the entire first part of the movie? Like, there's so many things that when you tell me, oh, the third one, I'm just like, okay, fuck, that's the one where she became king, as to where like the first and second one I can be like, okay, the second one is where he went to the island. Okay, cool, I can remember the whole movie in my head. Like first one, same thing. But with this one, I'm like, there's so much that I just can't like digest it, I guess. So It is a good movie for what it is, but I think it could have been done better, 100%.
Yeah. My thoughts on it definitely could have been a better movie. I think there's some great parts in it, but there's just so much mess in the middle and just like all over that it's like, I disagree completely. This and Endgame are nothing alike. Endgame actually has a narrative 3-act structure.
Jake's pissed.
This has that.
Jake's pissed.
Like it just, And that had so much good buildup. I'm not saying that this didn't have some buildup from the first two films, but this is just nothing alike. So
it is the exact same thing.
It is
no.
Okay, Cameron. Okay, in Endgame, they have to get the stones, right? Like that's the thing. They have to get the stones because they have to undo what Thanos did, right? That's the thing. Okay, in this one, what are they doing? They need to.
They're getting the 9 pieces of 8.
They need to get Jack back from Davy Jones's locker to get the 9 pieces of 8, which does make sense, but whatever, it's fine. But why they couldn't do the same thing they did for Barbossa? But Barbossa is also one of the 9 pieces of 8 because he announces himself when he goes in. So why couldn't they just do the same thing for him as they did for they did for Jack? Why couldn't they do the same thing? And then like how they get there and how they get back? Like what was your plan if you couldn't figure if there was no way to get to Davy Jones? What were we gonna do? What were you gonna do?
Endgame had time travel, but you cut it at flip it, like bringing people back from the dead. It's
that the rules are not consistent. It's that there's no no consistency. There's no it just doesn't make sense. They just make shit up just to do it. Like
Pirates of the Caribbean doesn't need 30 movies to explain it though. They did it all in 3. So good for them.
You can watch Infinity War and Endgame and follow that story.
Yeah.
I followed the story just fine. It was followable.
I had to try twice. I don't like this movie. And I looked it up and the other ones only get worse.
Yeah, I'm not excited to watch 4 and 5 again. So.
I feel like 4 and 5 though, the pacing is just better. Like you can grasp the storyline a lot better even with the other ones.
It might make more sense, but it's worse.
Okay, but
they're less exciting. But this one was so exciting all the time.
So in Endgame, they're going to get the stones to undo the Thanos snap. In this movie, they're getting the 9 pieces of 8 to call the court to
release
Calypso. Release Calypso because Calypso can fight off Davy Jones. So then she can take back over the seas for the pirates.
Yeah,
I think.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously. Then she doesn't actually do anything once she's released. She just makes the twister, right? It doesn't make sense. They didn't sit there and come up with a story. They came up with a final scene of, what would be cool? If Will has to take over as Davy Jones. Oh yeah, that's cool. Let's just do some shit till then. Okay, cool.
Let's just make some shit up over here.
Make some shit up along the way. They flat earth themselves into Davy Jones's locker, right? They go through Antarctica and they fall off the edge of the earth, and then they have to flip the boat over.
Yeah, that was ridiculous to me. I didn't like that. But let's walk through the movie piece by piece, and then we'll kind of break it down from there. So we get the actual opening scene of the child getting hanged and all singing Pirates
coming back to me.
Yeah, this is very, very dark for Disney to do this.
Good for them.
That was a tough scene. But now that I think about it, that song, I've been humming it all week. It's so catchy. And it just might be because I'm a pirate, but I dig the song.
I did not follow a single word of the song, so I'm glad.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not a she's chantier. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was an interesting way to start the movie.
For a Disney movie, children's death, I was just like, okay, well, all right. I mean, if they're here, we're gonna give you the worst fucking thing you could think of to cover up how shitty the rest of the movie is.
Right? Maybe if we shock you with this opening, you will ignore how bad the middle is. Shock you with the opening, shock you with the ending, and then forget the middle.
Right?
Yeah.
You'll still be thinking about how we put killing a kid on TV that you won't even think about the first hour and a half of the movie.
That makes no sense.
I mean, if you're looking for any of the realism in this movie, that scene was it, right? That's how they treated pirates.
I mean, there are bad people out there like Beckett who will absolutely kill kids to scare people. But
yeah,
I will say you could have just like told them to sing the song, right? Like you didn't need to kill a bunch of them to get them to start singing. Just sing the song. Be like, hey, I won't kill you if you sing the song that you all know, so that this coin starts singing.
Wait, did he do it? Did he purposely do that to get them to sing? Is that
like when the guy walks over, he's like, they've started to sing, and he's like, finally, which is like,
I think it was also just to be like, their aim is to destroy pirates completely as well.
Right. I thought it was to destroy the pirates, and I thought like, I don't know.
And anybody that was like that would like dare to take the side of piracy.
Listen, I would have been hanged because I'd have been like, fuck the government.
True.
Right? But I could have some cool pirates and it's dangerous. Ooh. Sign me up.
Ooh. Kevin walking into a biker bar.
Salty Spittoon, how tough are you?
Oh my god, no. He's such a Weenie Hut Jr.
All right, so then the opening scene that Cameron really likes, it's Singapore.
This is the one. I like this one.
Singapore scene, and we meet Sao Feng, and they're here to get the navigational charts to get to Davy Jones' locker, and because Sao Feng is one of the pirate lords. And this is also, they found Will earlier, and Will made a deal to give Jack to him, and this is also where we get what is it, like 5 minutes of all the men being pervy towards Elizabeth Swann. So yeah, this is what happens in that scene, and then a big battle because the British attack, or the
because the tattoo on the one guy is leaking, and they realize it's from neither of them.
Right.
Why were the British in China? I don't know. I appreciated the diversification of the franchise. I appreciated, other cultures being represented. I don't know how she got to China in a little fucking rowboat, but whatever, it's fine. I don't know why
she didn't get there on a rowboat.
I mean, why were the British? I guess the British were everywhere, just like ruining shit wherever they went. So I guess that makes sense. But like, it wasn't my favorite part because it wasn't super realistic. But I was willing to forgive. If that was as unrealistic as it got, I would have forgiven it.
Yeah.
Well, here's my opposite take. I thought it was fantastic. Super fun. A great scene. I don't know what's to complain about in this scene. You have the stuff going on upstairs, the stuff going down downstairs, serious upstairs, funny downstairs kind of thing,
Yeah.
Yes, they're a little pervy to Elizabeth. You can't help that. They're pirates, I guess.
I think it's a very
I just love Cameron's like, you know what? Killing kids, sexual assault, it's all right.
Anyways, I thought the scene also highlighted how like much of a transition Elizabeth has made from her start to now, where she's got all them weapons on her and she's basically a badass pirate already. You know what I mean? You really see the evolution of our protagonists, except for Will in this one.
But like, I was
just
so
sucks the whole time still, and then turns into Davy Jones, where he kind of gets some growth. But then, boy, you can visit your girl more than once in 10 years. Not that we're gonna get there, but still, come on, you can ferry some people and stop by for a little something. It's fine.
I don't know, man. I just feel like this entire movie was just like I said, like it's built like they left off the second one and we're like, okay, so we're gonna lead this up to being Davy Jones, or like Will being Davy Jones. And then while they were in that meeting of what other bullshit can we make up to fill up 3 hours, they were just like, well, Keira Knightley has to have a way with this. So like I feel like a lot of it is like after you get through that first part that I still only remember the 12 Jacks from. Like I feel like the whole film is just like a bunch of bullshit. Will's gonna be Davy Jones, and then it's a lead up of like Elizabeth Swann getting to like do her little sword fights and become the fucking pirate king, and like it all could make sense, and fucking Jack voted for her, whatever. And like so then when Will does become Davy Jones and and she has to leave and go take care of the heart, then like we are supposed to feel fulfilled as viewers that like she got to live out all these pirate dreams. But to me, I'm just like, fuck that. That would have never happened. She'd have got her throat cut a long time ago. Fuck that. Like, you know, I don't know.
You guys
I hate when I agree with Sarah on things. God damn it.
I hate when Sarah disagrees with me. Sarah, come on now. Kevin hates it. Like it with me. Anyways.
Well, I do like it for what it is. Like, I'm gonna watch it. I do like it, but there are just so many continuity things. I'm just like things, and just like it feels like just so forced. I love the effortlessness of like the first and second one. This one just feels like, here you go. Here you go. Hey, look, we're doing this years later.
No,
Here's the thing
they
you
have
like.
to tie these things together. Like they didn't know if they were going to make any more after this. Like they had to tie off all of these kind of things while also making it a conclusion worthy of the franchise, which I think it was.
I will say it at least felt like it should have been a conclusion. We could have ended here.
I would have been perfectly happy to never come back to this world after this.
Yeah.
I know. If you liked the knot they tied at the end of this, it's not tied at the end.
Yeah, it gets completely undone.
But not really. Like they leave Will and Elizabeth kind of out of it. But
I saw that they cameo in the fifth one.
Will doesn't like. He doesn't become Davy Jones until like the very end of the movie. Like it's a 2-hour and 50-minute movie. He doesn't become Davy Jones to the very end, and it's very minorly hinted at that he might do it in like one scene before. So it's not like, I
feel like it's like the whole movie it's just pushed there. Like there's always that thing there that's like it's gonna be Jack or Will probably, because they're not introducing us to any other character. What are they gonna have? Fucking Pintel come in and fucking do it? Fuck out of here.
Or Cotton's parrot.
Cotton's parrot, yes.
It was okay. So it was obvious that like Jack was saying he wanted to do it, but it wasn't going to end up being Jack. And like the whole story is about how he was in love, Davy Jones is in love, and that's why this all happened. And like, who's the character who's in love with the girl in this movie? It's Will. So like the writing is like in the wall in like red blood, very clearly.
The Chamber of Secrets has been opened once more. Okay, you guys, I feel like this is an unfair thing to this movie. I really feel like they did it well. They kind of nailed the characters, and yeah, they had to put some fluff in there, I guess, but it didn't feel like fluff most of the time. They had to get Jack back from the dead. You know,
well,
so
like
no matter how they do it, it's gonna be ridiculous. But at least it was like entertainingly ridiculous.
But like,
if I had to go back and pick any one of them to watch, I would never pick this one.
I'd pick one of the first two.
I would rewatch the first one, and I would like. If somebody wanted to watch the second one, I would. It wouldn't be my first choice, but like, sure. But like this one, if somebody's like, "Let's watch Pirates 3," I'd be like, "Let's not."
Let's not.
We could just go to sleep.
Right.
I come over, I hold the DVD to Pirates 3. I'm just like, let's put it in, everybody, and enjoy.
You should bring that to Florida.
Yeah, for real.
Be like, you know what? Let's not even go to the Disney.
You bring the DVD to Pirates 3. You bring the DVD to Pirates 3, and you're like, you want to watch it? I'm like, oh shucks, no DVD player.
I brought my own.
No, sorry, I don't have any HDMI cords available. Sorry.
I brought my own.
No, they don't
We're
work
watching
on this
this movie.
Oh no, my TV just went out the window.
Sarah brought her flag and everything.
The cat's just go to the TV. No, it's just I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah,
for the last 15 minutes.
Any thoughts on Sao Feng? Because we get introduced to him here. We'll talk about his demise later, but
I think he's
a badass.
Yeah, as a character, I really did like him. I feel like, and he's a very popular artist, or actor.
Chow Yun-fat, I believe is the actor's name.
Yeah, he's very powerful. And so I do like him. I just wish maybe we would have got to at least hear of him, or maybe a little something cameo maybe in the last one, just because of how powerful he is. I want to see more. And then he's killed so early and gives this fucking bullshit to Elizabeth, which is bullshit, just bloody giving the title away now. And I wanted to see more of him.
Yeah, well, I feel like they could have done a post-credit scene of him in Dead Man's Chest instead of the dog.
That would have been great. Yeah, or like or both of them, to be honest. But
Yeah.
yeah, that would have been great. I would have. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like I said, I like the expansion that like this is the whole world and it's not just like the white people in the Caribbean, right? Like I do appreciate all of that.
Yeah. And a lot of it is based off like a lot of actual real pirate stuff. Like I know like Captain Barbossa is based off like there was a pirate named Barbarossa. There really was like a pirate brethren court kind of thing.
Yes,
so a lot of those things are real. It's just like they did it kind of bad.
I appreciate that they like tried to make the Chinese pirate village seem more like, you know, culturally Chinese than like just being a pirate village that had Chinese people in it. You know, like I appreciate those things. I just feel like something about it just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, like Kira going there, Elizabeth going there on her boat,
like
singing, she doesn't get one
so
arrow in the chest. Really,
so
not one.
They would have had to go all the way down around. This is what I like geography too much. They would have had to go all the way down around the tip of South America and go all the way over to China. Like that would take so long. And like they're doing it as pirates, right? They're not like a trained Navy vessel. So like they're doing
for sure made like host stops for sure.
Right. They do they know what they're doing? Do they know where they're going? Do they? Probably not. Like they're just going based on feeling like the wind and the stars, right?
Well,
like
because they have to get the navigational charts from Sao Fang to even get where they need to go.
So like I don't like, and if they're singing the song and there's the 9 pieces of 8, like shouldn't that like somehow be like the thing that calls them all there? And like how do the other pirates from the other countries also get there? There's something about it that I really like, and there's something that's there, but I just don't feel like it was done well.
I know. I fucking hate agreeing with Kevin. Like I hate when I feel like he's saying what I feel, and I'm just like,
I know. It makes me so angry, Sarah.
So
I will say what would make the movie better is doing a little less and like maybe focusing more on the cool ass pirate brethren in each corner of the world that they kind of inhabit, then getting together to come towards the unique threat of Beckett and Davy Jones instead of having to go to Singapore and Davy Jones' locker and back and back. I can't remember the exact stuff right now, but
why? Because it was too much shit in one movie, Cameron?
And Sao Fang was a great villain. You know, it's hard to top Davy Jones and all of the rest, but he totally did it. I'm kidding. He's definitely the worst of the bunch.
Like we could get more time with the members of the Brethren Court, right? And like instead of going to Davy Jones' log and just like Barbossa just appeared, just came out of the swamp attic. Like we don't have to go get Jack.
Right? He's like, a great captain. It seemed like Jack was on his way out, even if they didn't come to rescue him.
And that was like what? Yeah, the crabs were carrying the boat anyway. Like why? But like,
so
I will say
that's something that got me. I was just like, they just did all this work to get there. When probably if they didn't do that, Jack would have just escaped anyway.
Well, wasn't it because Calypso was there and she still had the power to like call the crabs? So she got the crabs to carry Jack to them, I believe.
But then she could have gone on her own. She didn't need to take the whole ship with her.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just saying. I think that's what happened.
And she couldn't go by herself because, like, I don't know, she'd have to have a ship and all that, and like there's probably like I could argue like that argument somehow, but
she's trapped in her bones.
She's trapped in human bonds. You dumb
Kevin,
fuck.
did you even watch the movie?
She rolls the bone dice. Like she's still doing magic. She brought Barbossa back to life. She's still doing magic. She's still a sea witch.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she still has some sort of powers. She's still a magical creature, but she's still trapped in human bonds. She can't be in her original form. So it makes sense she'd still be like like psychic. Like I swear to God, Kevin, I'm glad. Let's fight. No, let's do this. Come on.
All right.
She could have done it. She could have done it.
I will say the funniest part in Singapore is when Marty, the little person, when he like fires the gun and he just goes flying backwards.
Yeah, I'm surprised Cameron didn't bring that up since he likes to have all sorts of controversial opinions.
God.
Wait, what was controversial about the little guy flying back with the blunderbuss?
I'm just surprised you didn't say something about it as that being your favorite part. Just
Jeez.
How is that controversial?
I don't know. Let's just move.
Controversial opinions, bad opinions, same thing.
Yeah.
I feel like now I'm unnecessarily getting attacked for enjoying a movie.
Hey, it's fine. I feel like I've enjoyed movies, but some people haven't liked either, so it's fine. All right.
I think you all liked it, but you still find flaws.
It's not my
That's what I said. I did like it, but like you said, I mean, it could have just been done less. They could have focused on different things. Like I would have loved to have seen more about like the Brethren Court and like really get into it on how like they never really go over and say like, because each pirate lord was like lord of like one of this, the seven seas or whatever.
Yes.
Like, I would have loved to seen more about that, learn more about that, how they interacted with each other. Like if one went into the other's territory, was it all guns blazing right away? Do you have a camaraderie? Like I would have just loved to learn more about that, because you can't just introduce me to 9 pirate lords and then tell me nothing about every one of them. You know what I mean? Like I just want to see more.
Yeah. Well, let's move forward because we got still more to get to. So let's go skip to the locker. So this is where we get the scene, the first of like 3 scenes where Jack is talking to himself, going insane. And I don't care this first one. Like I think it's funny. I mean, I don't think it necessarily makes a ton of sense, but it's like Jack's going insane, and it's just Johnny Depp doing Johnny Depp things. So like, I still enjoyed it, and so especially the fact that he kills one of his imaginary Jacks over a peanut.
Yeah, I do like this scene. I think it was hilarious. I enjoyed seeing. It's just funny because we always just see one Captain Jack, and so for this scene to introduce us to 12 different versions of him in his own mind was neat. And like fun thing about this is that this scene isn't like CGI or anything. They actually went out to the salt flats in Utah to film this.
Oh, wow.
And like had like a boat like prop thing there and stuff, and yeah, so they really filmed it out there. And when they were filming it, it was supposed to be nice like the whole time, and then it ended up raining, so like that morning everything was just wet, so they had to hope like the water dried by the end to get that real dry looking feeling. But yeah, so all that was done really really well. And even when Jack was like laying on the ground, they like built the whole like front of the ship as a prop to make it look like the ship when it went past him, like so that way it didn't have to be CGI'd. Like I do love that these movies, they always, if they can do it for real, they will. CGI is always like a last resort, so I do appreciate that, but there's just stuff wrong with it.
Yeah. And then you get one Jack acting like a chicken, one is falling in love with a goat, and yeah,
the goat. I cannot believe, again, a Disney film. They put this on a Disney Channel movie.
Listen, even the chicken I was okay with, the goat was a little like much. Because the chicken, like, he is the chicken, so like it's kind of funny. But then like I'm like, he wants to fuck that goat. That is weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
I know, even as a kid, I was like, so are they fucking or not? Like, what the fuck is going on?
You want to come say hi? Come say hi.
Hi,
Any other thoughts on this scene and Jack getting carried back by the crabs?
Fuck.
I thought it was fun because you got to see Captain Jack Sparrow in so many different like roles on the ship that you don't see him in. Like he's doing all the roles on the ship, which you'll never ever see him do ever again, because he's just walking around and sometimes occasionally grabs the wheel, right?
Jack Sparrow.
And he's wearing all like the different variations of his outfit, right? Like shirtless, a little bit of shirt on, a little bit of shirt off. You know what I mean? Like that's
probably the only thing Kevin paid attention to.
Scene for those who like Captain Jack Sparrow the way I do.
I mean, I didn't. Like showing him going insane, like that worked, right? Like you really do feel like this character is losing their mind. I don't think that it was necessary for the film, but like
I'm assuming most of that was improv, honestly.
Honestly, yeah, it really was. Like I love when he licks the crab thing and he's just like rock. Like I just love dumb, stupid shit like that. So they didn't have to do all the extra shit. Like Kevin's enough, you know what I mean?
So yeah, he gets down, reunites with the crew, and I love how he thinks they're hallucinations at first. And he's just like, at one point, I can't remember who it was. It Will, where he's like, "Do you remember us?" And he's like, "Nope, I definitely don't," or something. It's just like how insane Jack has gone that he has no idea who they are anymore. Like,
right away, he's just like, "Master Gibbs, what the fuck has been going on in my ship?" And he's just like, "Bro, like I just got here, dog. Like I don't even know. Like what are you doing?"
Yep. And Barbossa's real name Hector gets dropped for the first time. So
yeah. And yeah, we get to Will finds out that Elizabeth was, well, he didn't find out how she did it, but that she killed him, essentially sacrificed him to the Kraken, and he thought it the whole time that he or she loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, like you're dumb. Like even as viewers, we're like, no.
I can't believe they never talked about that. They never came up.
Like, yeah, it was just the lead up because she was like, it was my burden to bear. So then that was his excuse to use it against her.
It never came up in a fight of like, I saw you kiss him. Like,
right, yeah. Their entire relationship is just them gaslighting each other into like, you didn't
very unhealthy.
Yeah.
What
and now
I
they
love
can't see
about
each other but any 10 years, and then he got her knocked up, left her with a kid. Yeah, good choice.
All right, Cameron, what were you?
What I liked about this specific scene we were talking about with the hallucinations that aren't hallucinations, but to him, you kind of get like an in look into how Jack Sparrow is like perceives his kind of friends. You know, he's like, well, I know you wouldn't actually be here because it has nothing to do with saving Elizabeth, and you'd only ever come and find me if it has something to do with Elizabeth, so you wouldn't actually be here. And he kind of has that reason for like all of them. And then he finds out within like the next time he gets to the land of the living and they get captured by Sao Fang, and he finds out that none of the people who came to rescue him that had come for him, right? Like they came for their own reasons. And then he's like, did anybody actually come?
Oh yeah, and then you have the two.
Yeah, so they all some of the people raise their hands. He's like, well, I'm standing over there with
that. Yeah, and Jack the monkey.
But he was right? Like those people didn't actually just come to save him. They came for their own benefits. And
yeah,
that's why I liked it.
Very pirate.
One scene justifies 3 hours of bullshit for you?
It wasn't 3 hours of bullshit. Okay, you guys aren't appreciating the good scenes.
I like the funny scenes.
You are, Jake, but Sarah's hating too much.
But I don't
Kevin's
think this
giving
is
its due
movie.
More than Sarah is.
I think there's a lot
and
of
she's hating on me, not even just the movie. It's mostly me. She's like, well, because
your opinions are bad.
Stupid and you're stupid.
Cameron, you and I usually get along. You're taking a couple stray bullets now and making it a whole thing now. Do you have your period? Is that what it is?
See, what is this? She's getting so personal.
What? Okay,
let's do podcasts late at night anymore. Sarah can't do night podcasts.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
we need to move forward. All right. So then they pass the dead souls on the ship. And that includes Governor Swan, Elizabeth's dad. This is a really sad scene because she thinks she can save him, but he's already dead. And so this was a sad scene because you knew like Beckett was like, oh, I have no use for him anymore, so he can just die.
I'll tell you what, have a dead dad and then watch this movie, it hits you way differently. It was really sad. It was really fucked up to watch. And again, for a Disney movie, it was just like, oh, my heart, you know what I mean? We've already had to watch children be murdered, and now we have to like just watch her dad like be gone. I don't know, just a lot of shit. Hashtag orphan.
Yeah, there's something about it that's super brutal. There's something about it that's a little sloppily done, but there is something about it that's super brutal. Of like she genuinely thinks like, oh, we're back. We made it back because there's my dad. Like,
yeah, well, and the fact that he's able to talk to them and like actually like, you know, she actually thinks she can save him, but
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you what though, if I saw my dad out there on a fucking boat and she's all get a fucking life raft or whatever she's fucking said, I'd be throwing one of the crewmen in there and telling them to go fucking get him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh no.
I didn't understand. I assumed that there was some kind of like, you can't jump in the water because then you will die. But like they'd already fallen into that water and like gotten on the shore. So like,
I know that, and that's the thing. There's just so much storytelling that could have been done so much better. Like
they threw
like
so
the rules.
Much in here.
The rules don't matter. So which is why I don't like the movie. There is something super brutal about it, but it is kind of sloppily done for my liking. But I do appreciate the heart wrench of it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
but again, I feel like it is one of those things where it's like, okay, like her dad died, that's super sad. But I also feel like it was something like, oh well, like it's just another part of Elizabeth's story to get her to be the pirate king kind of thing. Like it's just another thing that happened for Elizabeth.
Did they fridge her dad?
What?
Fridging is when you kill a female character just to like move the plot along for the male character. So like, did they do that? Did they just kill off a male character just to move the plot forward for a female character? Did they fridge her dad?
I guess so.
I feel like his death didn't really affect her overall plot. Like she probably would have done all the same things regardless of if her dad died or not. I think it was just to get less scenes with Beckett and her father because they didn't really matter at this point right now. Right. Until you needed to see them again.
And Beckett truthfully didn't have a use for her dad at this point. So, you know, it's just getting him out of the way so Beckett can just do what he wants to do. All right. And then we get the scenes. They go through like the frozen wasteland, frozen waters. You get a guy ripping off his toe.
That was on the way. That was on the way to.
Yeah, that was the way in.
That was the way to. See, it's all over the place.
Look at your notes, Jake.
That's why I said they flat earth their way to Davy Jones's locker because they had to go through the ice. They had to go through the ice wall and over the edge.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to mention the guy ripping his own toe off because he was frozen solid. And then they turn the whole boat upside down to get out of the land of the locker, which is ridiculous. Yeah, I don't like it either. So
that's one of the times so many things broke inside the Black Pearl when they were doing that because they let the cannons go. So they're like swinging all across the inside. Like that shit fell apart.
And one guy literally get
one thing I can like buy though, because like this world is weird. So like if you're adding in all the magic and the lore, like the upside down ship thing, like I can get behind. Because I feel like if you're like flipping it, whatever shit's getting broke, like I feel like already it's a crazy situation fucking flipping a boat upside down and it's gonna be okay. So I feel like there would be some sort of like time lapse where like the last 2 minutes didn't count for damage, you know, kind of like Harry Potter.
I wouldn't have minded if like as the like because then they're all upside down underwater. And then
I would have liked to have been closer
the air
to
like
sunset.
raises up, but like it comes down. So like if that had happened and it like fixed everything when that happened, I would have completely let it go. But instead, they just let everything just continues breaking on that ship, and nothing ever gets fixed, but it still floats.
I do find it hilarious when Pintle and Rigetti tie themselves to the mast, and they're like, that was funny at least.
It's always those two. I just love it. And then you get the two government idiots to join him. Fucking great.
Yeah, they have an arc at least, which is funny. So they get to the island. Obviously, we also got the piece of dialogue that Beckett ordered Davy Jones to kill off the Kraken, and we see the dead Kraken washed up on the shore, which is pretty cool.
It's fucking gnarly. Why wouldn't you use that? Like, what, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The fuck?
I'm glad they at least showed the dead Kraken after mentioning it in dialogue earlier in the movie. So I thought that was a cool thing to show after saying it. So
I missed
don't
the
even
piece of
remember when
dialogue,
they
so I
said
just
it.
found it. Yeah.
I saw the dead Kraken and I was just like, oh, they killed the Kraken. But I don't remember them ever saying it.
yeah,
I mean,
Beckett
bring the Kraken
literally.
back to life. Nothing matters. Nothing stays dead. Bring the Kraken back to life.
Yeah, Beckett.
It's on its way back right now.
He tells Davy Jones at the start, he's like, you know, I took control of the seas out of your heart, you know, or whatever. He's like, and just to make sure you don't try anything like this is why we ordered you to kill your beast. And it's like something along those lines. Anyway, so then Sao Fang attacks. They get captured by Sao Fang. You have what Cameron mentioned, that funny scene. And then, Sao Fang thinks Elizabeth is Calypso and assaults her. And then Sao Fang gets killed. So, yeah, and gives his one of his pieces to Elizabeth.
Gives his nine piece of 8 to Elizabeth.
You're telling me some bitch, like, he's just gonna give, like, I don't know, whatever. Even if she is Calypso, like, whatever. What's gonna happen now? She's gonna turn into Calypso, turn into Sea Witch, and then just give. Is she gonna worry about giving the 9 pieces of 8 to somebody else? No, she's fucking out. She doesn't care. You know, like, I don't know. They could have picked someone better. He hasn't known a guy for 12 years that he'd rather trust to give that to some mythical lady. Like, I was just like, oh, here we go, another thing for the special girl to get another plot point.
Special people.
Right.
They do call them protagonists.
Yes.
I minded this special girl less than I minded the special boy in the first Harry Potter movies. I mean, they had to make her be a captain so that she could be in the captain's court, in the Brethren court. Like, it's fine, whatever.
Yeah, well, they had to have somebody they wanted to fight.
And I personally would have liked better if they killed off one of the generic European pirates to take her. Didn't she take that one's place? And like the only Chinese one, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. I don't know.
Whatever. It was just one of those things of like, I don't understand how they all like end up where like when they get to the point of the sandbar when it's like, because it's Barbossa, Jack, and Elizabeth on one side, and it's Davy Jones, Beckett, and Will on the other side. I'm just like, how did we get to these being the sides?
Yeah.
I remember I looked at my phone for a minute, and I looked back up, and they were all on the beach, and Will's on that side. I went, I need to rewind this movie. I was like, I swear I only looked down for 5 minutes, and now Will, and they're all on the beach, and he's in the bucket. And I'm like, I swear I remember this, but I don't remember Will on that side. And then I get back, I like go back, I watch it, I get back to that scene, looked at my phone, and I look back up and Jack's on that side now. I went, oh shit. Gotta go back again. So, you know, that could be added to the reason I like the movie so much, but I also was paying attention for most of it. That's just a bad example, but it was a funny example because that's just how I experienced that scene this time. Yeah. So I will say it can be a little confusing, but I also haven't watched them in this close succession before. And I think that made me appreciate this one more than I had previously. Like, I always remember this one being the ugly stepbrother of the first two, because you can go back and watch the first or the second one completely out of context, have a fantastic time watching them. This one, you need to know what happened in those first two ones and come to conclusions yourself just a little bit. But so enjoyable. The end game of the Pirates franchise, and I'll
Except
stand
Endgame's 1,000 times better.
Okay, Endgame, you're right. It is 1,000 times better. But this is Endgame with pirates, and I'm fucking for it. I think I said fucking a little bit.
I like that Cameron tried to like have this wild statement to like be assertive, and we've already made him abandon it.
We're here for fun times, good vibes on the podcast. Someone's got to be positive. I don't even like the movie that much, but someone's got to be positive.
That's true. All right.
That's true. You don't know.
I'm a hero, I'm honest.
But the Dutchman, they attack. Southane dies because of that, and then Elizabeth and some of Southane's men get taken aboard. The Dutchman, James Norrington, frees them because he's admiral now from, helping get the heart to Beckett. And then Bootstrap Bill, who we saw was already going crazy earlier, he comes out and kills Norrington because part of the ship, part of the crew, you can't leave the ship. So
that fucked with me. I was like, oh, bad form.
Yeah.
But also because we're just done with Norrington at that point.
The inconsistency of the Flying Dutchman choosing which ships are just completely destroyed and which ships get boarded to get some people. Like, you just so happen to have Elizabeth on this ship kind of thing. It doesn't make total sense, I guess.
It also doesn't so you're telling me the British are on this ship with the heart to make Davy Jones do the things that they want him to do. How are they getting messages to those British people on the ship to tell them what to do? But beyond that, when the Flying Dutchman goes underwater, what are the living British people doing? None of it makes sense.
It's magic.
If you don't have to be a sea creature, you don't have to be a sea creature, then why are they sea creatures? It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, well, I don't know if you saw the end of the movie, spoiler alert, but they don't have to be sea creatures to be aboard the Flying Dutchman underwater.
Well, wait, didn't at one point weren't the British not going underwater until the scene where Davy Jones actually takes them underwater, and the one guy, the second in command under Beckett, is freaking out because they're going underwater at one point. I don't think they did it till Davy Jones finally took control back, and I don't know.
That makes total sense, Jake.
It doesn't make sense, but I just thought I was okay. We'll move on. So Norrington dies, and now we get to the Brethren Court, and probably my favorite line of the movie is when all the pirate lords start fighting, and Elizabeth's like, "This is madness." Jack's like, "This is politics."
Great, so good.
That's the funniest line of the entire movie. And then we get introduced to Jack's dad, Captain Teague, played by Keith Richards. So any thoughts on the Brethren Court scene?
I mean, yeah, I think I already kind of went into it. I would have just getting to see that. I would have liked to known more, just seen more. All the other scenes, they could have lengthened this one a lot, gave us backstories to kind of each one, especially with each pirate being based off major pirates in the real world. I feel like they could have gave us a little more lore, a little more info. Again, a callback to the other one, Keith Richards playing Captain Teague, him being a big rock star, and that being what Johnny Depp kind of based his persona off of when he got cast as Jack Sparrow, is a really neat thing. So having him come in was really cool. But again, they could have given us more backstory. Again, you have Keith fucking Richards there, and you're going to give him 5-10 minutes of screen time? Come the fuck on, He loved it. And I watched the documentary shit. He loved being there. Give him more shit to do.
Well, I mean, from what I'm hearing from this podcast, if they had put in those backstories, it would have been too much more. You know what I mean?
No, I love the history. I would have remembered it.
Here's why. And talking to Sarah, this is how we remake the film. We don't go to Davy Jones's locker. Instead of going to Davy Jones's locker, we get more background about these other members of the Brethren Court, and maybe not all of them, but a couple of them, right? And they get called, so they're coming in, and then they all meet, and then somehow they bring Jack back from the dead at that point to complete the Brethren Court.
Their plot point. Yeah, they can't do it unless they have Jack.
They could have just easily said that Jack and Barbossa couldn't die because they had 9 pieces of 8 and were pirate lords, and just what
if it's Jack's dad? What if somehow Jack's dad is able to bring him back? You need a drop of his blood to bring back his son or something. There's magic. It doesn't need to be that's the thing, is that it doesn't have to be super realistic. It just has to be consistent. Like, and it's just
literally like at one point don't they have like ships and bottles and shit? Like, come on, man.
Well, that's the next one that we have to talk about.
Okay.
Well, I already don't like that.
If anything,
Yeah.
this brother in court is a testament to how good this scene was, because it makes us want so much more out of it. And while we can be sad we didn't get that much more, we can be happy we even got them at all, because how cool was that scene?
You should go to bed. I think you
really
worked too much today.
Somebody put a little too much something in some of your food. You're really
I agree with the Brethren Court. At least we got something, but like I totally agree that
Jake,
like,
you can see no Jake.
But this is exactly what I said about Sao Fang in the beginning, is that I appreciate the world building, that this is beyond just the Caribbean, that like there's pirates from all over. I appreciate the diversification. I appreciate all of that, but then like it's just so sloppy and thrown together.
I see that.
It is sloppy. It is thrown
history.
together.
So, like, for them basing so many characters, like, off real pirates, like Captain Barbossa, off Barbarossa, like, you can't not tell me that was, like, an accident. So, for them not to give us a little more factual history in this, like, it just is it just was, like, disappointing. Because just the French one, like, they were based off real pirates. Like, again, they were all pirate lords of, like, a certain seven seas. Like, why not go into, like, why they are there? Like, I just want it to be better.
Singing the song. They're all singing the song as they're getting hanged. And if they're singing the song, like they show members of the Brethren Court around the world hearing it, and like therefore they need to come together and convene, right? And so then we see them on their ship wherever they are. Even if some of them we only see them on the ship, and then we see them at the Brethren Court, and some of them we actually like Sao Fang, we actually spend time with.
Yeah. Show me why they're important. Exactly. We've got to see so much of Jack and Barbossa and why they're important, and why they're good characters, and why they're the leaders of the ship. I mean, I want to know why what is that? Mistress Chang is the leader of her ship. Like, is it just because she yells a lot? Like, that Sisumbaji guy, he can't even fucking talk. So what happens if you killed him? Like, you know what I mean? I just want more. They could have had, you know what? We could have rewrite that whole Brethren Court scene. They could have killed Sisumbaji. They would have had to elect a leader of that thing. It could have been Elizabeth Swan, and then you've got the speaker guy. Could have been like, "Well, what do I do now?" That would have been a funny fucking line. You know what I mean? Come on.
His piece of 8 could be something that rolls, and she picks it up, and like, oh well, now she's the captain, and like instead of. There's so many things that like could have been silly, and like would have been fine being silly instead of just being sloppy.
Yeah,
that was my favorite thing Pirates has ever said. Is like that line could have been. I don't even remember it now, but it was just so funny. I want to live in that moment forever.
Thank
you. To everyone's happiness here, that scene is the last scene I very much enjoyed of the movie. All the rest of it sucks. I was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna get to this epic battle.
Not epic.
No. And like
there's some fun moments, but
okay, there's some fun moments, but like, you know how much more fun moments you would have had if all the work we just put in over the last 2 hours actually came to fruition, and we had all the pirate lords fighting all of the British.
No, I agree with that
Dutchman.
I agree with that part.
How dare
you could
take
have
that
had
from me.
Yeah, again, we'll
could
get
have had the Black Pearl coming back from the dead to
this
lead
dog shit movie took it from me, and I am not
lead all of these other like ships from all these different types of ships from different places that are different pirate ships, like a ragtag group of pirates coming together to take on the British fleet, which didn't need to be as big as it was. So it could have been a fair fight, and like it could have actually been an epic battle. And instead it was let's make the dirty swamp woman tall, and then the two ships are just gonna go in a circle for a half an hour.
Oh my god.
The dirty swamp woman.
Right, the swamp monster from Lucky Duck Lake. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, well, before we get to Free Calypso, I did want to mention some the Barbossa and Jack feud over who gets to be captain and the dick measuring contest. So we have Jack building the telescope longer than Barbossa's, just
it was so
and then arguing over who gets to be captain, and like Barbosa's like, I'm captain because I have the charts, and Jack's like, that just makes you chart man.
Oh, I loved it. And I loved it at some point they were like in the office or some shit. And he's like, well, I'm the captain of the starboard side of the ship. And it's just like they had to like cut it down to they each got a half of the ship. Just love it. Love their I feel like their relationship is me and Kevin. I just fucking love it. Like
Yeah. So Kevin's Barbosa then.
100%.
Well, yeah, because you're the fucking insane one, so.
Fact.
True.
But I wouldn't. I guess I'm probably the guy who loses his eye all the time.
Spaghetti.
The one who knows how to whisper to Calypso that she's released.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're saying it wrong. I free you from your bond.
Cam would know how to whisper sweet nothings.
I would whisper some sweet nothings in Calypso's ear and she would get all big. Trust me. I'd be like, you're saying it wrong? Watch this.
It would work on me.
I know. Just wait till Florida. We hug for the first time. I'm just like, Calypso, I free you from your bonds.
Oh, fucking God.
I just feel like the tiny hand rubbed down the side of my face, you know?
And I'm just gonna Jack Sparrow run the fuck away.
Yeah. Jake's standing there like,
Jake's
you
gonna
didn't hug me
be
first.
Like, so am I still the ultimate daddy or not?
Ultimate Daddy Jake. Oh my God, I'm gonna bring you a shirt that says Ultimate Daddy on it.
Do it.
It's gonna be like sleeves cut off.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Triple scoop neck.
I mean, unlike Will, I don't think I can pull off the Mickey Mouse tank top, but I don't have Will's guns.
I like
Listen,
when
you
we all
can pull
laugh
off
together.
anything.
Wasn't that fun, guys? Wasn't that fun?
All right. Well, after freeing Calypso by breaking her from her bonds.
You said it wrong, Jake.
Yeah, I know I did. But I'm not you, Cameron, so I'm
sorry.
All right, so we have the giant final battle. I totally agree. The only, the giant whirlpool. So I will say the fun parts about that, I do like the part where, because Davy Jones can walk through any part of the ship, so he gets stuck on like the Kraken wheel, and then him and Jack just keep trying to like, I don't know, like, so basically Davy Jones gets mad and like all his tentacles start like puffing out.
Flaring.
Yeah.
The tentacle flare.
Yeah, and Jack just gets scared and runs. That was funny. There's some other small moments, but yeah, this is a interesting fight. But it leads to, so Davy Jones dies after the whole Will thing. I mean, if we want to talk about, obviously, Will and Elizabeth get married in the middle of the fight. Barbosa.
God damn it. Barbosa's such a badass to just get them married while he's fighting off all of the fish monsters.
Yeah.
They asked him to. It's not even like he was just like, motherfucker.
Can we also though, can we just like slightly discuss how we've really appreciated how in so much of these movies, so much is done practically. And then in this scene, you just have people just hanging on to ropes, just swinging around in all directions from nowhere.
I will say one thing. During that, like at one point, Jack's flying through the air on the rope, and it looked so fake. And I was like, for every other CGI that they've done in this entire trilogy, it hasn't looked that fake.
To be fair, they used most of the budget on Davy Jones.
I mean, good for that. It looks fantastic. Yeah. Davy Jones looks great. And a lot of the other set pieces and CGI looks good. But this scene specifically, I was watching, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not your best work, guys.
So what did Calypso do? Like they went through this whole thing to free Calypso. What did she do? She made a whirlpool?
She created the maelstrom and gave them a chance. And maybe maybe she's doing something to all the other ships that are there, the hundreds of other ships
to make them all do nothing.
Involved.
Okay, if I had to say in this scene, I think when they released Calypso, like there was that whole like that whirlpool thing, and I think she knew that like, cause she's like again, she's like a magical creature, like she's psychic, I think. So like I think she knew that like because she knew like I mean she's known all the time like things were gonna happen before they did. So I think in this situation like I can say like she knew that like Will was gonna become Davy Jones, or at least Jack was. The Heart was gonna get stabbed, and then like she would be able to pull the ship out of the whirlwind. So like I can kind of like fight for that part. It's just like the rest of it I have a hard time with.
Okay.
Come on, Cammy.
All right, we're not defending this. Okay, so
we're not defending this.
We kind of skipped over just the only like they teased us so hard by like having all the ships pull up right at the start of this. Like this is what pissed me off so much. Is like we just spent so much time getting all these pirate lords and convincing them. You know what they could have done? The pilot lord said no the first time, let them leave, and then have your 1v1 because they respect the 1v1, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All the ships pull up, and then you see the ships coming in the distance, and then you see them all come through the fog, and it's so intimidating. And all of that buildup just for the two ships to like go hug and kiss in the middle of a maelstrom and have like the main characters kind of fight, get married, and then like just deal with them kind of quickly. I don't know. It wasn't good and poetic until Beckett's ship fell.
Yeah, well, because I mean Yeah, I mean I was going to touch on that as soon as we got to the Beckett ship.
Sorry, I can't help but try and get through this cluster mess of a final battle.
Oh yeah, no, and then so obviously Will gets stabbed. They make Will stab the Heart so he can become the captain of the Dutchman. They get back on the Pearl. And then Beckett's ship shows up. I will say, even though like it should have been all the ships firing or whatever, I will say like the scene of like Beckett's death is actually pretty cool. Of like where his ship's getting shot up and then he just
it's cool. But if you watch that, because I was looking at it, things just start exploding nothing touches them. Nothing happens. And like the railing is exploding as he's walking past the railing. I'm like.
It's cinematic at least, but I agree. It doesn't.
So you haven't heard of the self-destructing ship pulls, Kevin? Come on, bud.
It's just chunks of wood. It's not even like a ship with explosives in it.
The way they shot that though, I watched an extra that like when Beckett's ship is being destroyed, like they shot him like going through it, and then like they really blew up like this ship and shot it in so many different angles. So like a lot of it wasn't CGI. They like really blew up this shit and shot it and knew how they were gonna have things blow up, and it was really neat scene to be done. I'll send you guys the link, or maybe we could post it in the comments or something like the extras. But like it is a really interesting thing to watch, like making of all this.
Extras. I'm not watching extras. I didn't enjoy watching the movie in the first place. I don't want to watch extras on it.
The extras are good. Just learning how it's made. I think you would enjoy it. I think you would.
I can't wait for both Sarah and Kevin to talk. Like I know I'm jumping ahead, but when Blackbeard comes, he's nothing like what you would assume Blackbeard.
But he is played by Ian McShane from John Wick.
Yeah, and it's just like he could have done better.
Oh yeah,
he was probably working with like the script and the direction he had, but it could have been better than it was.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I just know Sarah's just like Barbarossa or whatever is like a great depiction or whatever. You don't get that with Blackbeard at all.
No, I totally
I already don't like it. I'm just being honest.
I don't remember much about Blackbeard in
it's all gonna be a shock to me too when I rewatch it. I remember like 4 things from the movie, and me not liking Blackbeard was one of the things that I remembered. And I was just like, all this defending I'm gonna do for At World's End when I don't even like fully like the movie, I can't do for the next one.
All right.
The next one I'm just gonna be like, how stupid was that? They should have ended at 3, and I can't believe we have a 5th.
Oh yeah, I don't know why we have 2 more, but
because I looked it up, and the 4th one, it was the second highest grossing movie in the franchise. So they're like, oh good, it's back. Yeah.
Damn. And then they're like, I guess we got to do a 5th.
Right.
And then retcon everything.
And then I think the 5th one is the worst performing one. I think that was when they were like, oh, that was a fluke. Never mind, we're done.
Yeah, and
The
then
fourth one had redeeming moments in story for sure. I think I don't remember.
I don't know. We'll have to see. But I mean, Disney's been like thinking about rebooting it, Pirates for a while again, and then it just fell through, which is a good thing. So
and come back to the Tribe of Nerds to watch it.
Yeah,
talk about it.
All right, so we're almost done here. So then Will leaves Elizabeth on the island. Does the thing with her leg, and
but like he also he doesn't have to leave her.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to leave her. She can go with him. The British people were on the Flying Dutchman.
I would just assume, like, after, like, you can't see her for 10 years. We all know that. Like, I mean, even as, like, kids, I was like, so they're gonna fuck, right? Like, you know what I mean? We didn't have to see him hump her leg, for sure.
Also, he left her on an abandoned island. Why not leave her at, like,
she's got all that sweet governor inheritance. Like, she doesn't need to be on an island. Like, come on.
Yeah, take this heart and stay here. Build a hut. You'll be okay. The rum runner shed is this way. You'll be fine.
But like,
I'm sure he has some pull that like she gets like a weekly delivery of things that she needs, but still, that's pretty freaking lonely. The first like 5 years before your child can even like really interact with you in a way that's like entertaining and you not fully just raising it. Like now it can be kind of like your friend thing. I don't know. I've never had kids. I just assume like the first 5 years you're like, I will make sure that you get to a point that you can have a personality. I don't know.
God.
I need to write that down somewhere. It can just be your little friend
when he actually has kids.
My kids are gonna love me. I'm pretty sure at some point Victoria was just like, you have to be a mean parent sometimes too. And I'm like, oh, I will. Let's go to baseball and get ice cream. Yeah.
Little friend thing.
You know what? There's been some good quotes, and unlike at World's End, it was consistent.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so then Jack ends up stealing the chart from Barbossa. Barbossa leaves him behind, and it's for the Fountain of Youth because we're setting up the fourth one slightly, even though we could have just ended here, but whatever.
I wrote it down. It can just be a little friend thing. I don't know. I never had kids.
But yeah, then there's the post-credit scene of Will returns 10 years later for his son and Elizabeth and blah blah blah.
I made sure I fast forwarded through the thing, so I was like, there's probably an end credit scene here because apparently that's the thing in these movies, but I've missed the last two times.
This is your father.
Yep. All right. So let's head to the rankings. So I guess right now it's Davy Jones at number 1, Barbossa number 2, Beckett at 3, and Norrington at 4. We can add Sao Feng to this list.
I wouldn't even add Sao Feng. I would, whatever.
I think we should add him because, he was a villain, but he wasn't great. He was great with the time we got him, and had things gone a little differently, he could have been more imposing. I remember in my notes for the movie, I said, I never would have thought the British would be imposing, but they kind of are in this movie. And then by the end, I'm like, oh, never mind. But at the start, they were good.
Yeah.
So
control.
Are we rating Sao Feng as a character or as a villain? Because as a villain, I'm giving him a low grade because I don't think he's a very good villain.
Yeah.
But as a character, I like him.
But I mean, do you guys think it should be all together as a character, or
I would put him on like the same kind of chart as I would put Beckett's second guy in command, who also gets a lot of screen time and gets
the one that gets his like tentacles down.
Yeah. The fan service there. Sorry, I'm throwing that word out there like it means something that it doesn't.
Yeah, that was also a dark death of just Davy Jones sticking tentacles through this guy's face.
I haven't said it once during like our 3 episodes that we've done this so far, but yeah, for a Disney movie, they don't pull their punches at all. Like I feel like Disney was more of just like a masthead to kind of get it produced, but they didn't have like a lot of say in what was like in it. Because like, holy shit!
But like it's based on their ride from their park, so like it is their thing, and like
yeah.
I feel like the darkness is almost subtle enough that like when I was a kid, I didn't realize how dark it was, but now rewatching it as like a grown man, I'm like, holy shit, that was dark as hell.
Yeah. All right. So Southane, I'm probably gonna give a C just because like he had some potential. He looked cool and everything, good actor. But just in terms of
I'm gonna put him above Norrington.
Yeah, that I feel like we should just say that. Yeah. I would probably also put him above Norrington, although Norrington had like a decent character arc across these 3 movies, but like
by the end he sucks.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean like
he's nothing.
He dies for
should have just been a pirate. He was a better, cooler pirate.
Right. He was cool in the second movie when he was like dirty and a pirate.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. He had that was the best time for his character. All right. So yeah, Southane above Norrington. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah.
I'm either above Norrington or below. Like I don't care that much to either one.
I would put him below because I just like Norrington more as like an antagonist for what he was for the first 2 movies.
Yeah, fair enough. Sara?
I begrudgingly agree with Cameron just because it's Cameron, but I do agree. Like, we've got to, again, going back to the whole thing, Cameron, of why this movie sucks is like with Norrington, we did get to see a lot more of his character development, a lot more of his lore, his growth, his progression. And going back to Southane, even though he's a great character and powerful, I don't know a lot of who he is. So yes, he was a good villain the time we had him, but Norrington was a villain longer because I knew him longer.
Yeah.
I feel like you were right that the after credit scene shouldn't have been the dog in the second one. It should have just teased the Singapore shenanigans and like the scar on the side of his face or something. So at least we had like just a little more build up to him, I guess, because he was like a key part of this movie so much.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of like what they did in the MCU when they teased like the Collector and Thor: The Dark World before Guardians came out. Like as bad as that movie was, at least it teased for the Guardians, like, which is like it's crazy how a post-credit scene was the best part of that movie other than Loki. But
I think, sorry to jump from Pirates here because we don't talk about Marvel and you don't invite me to your Marvel podcast. But I think Marvel would benefit a lot if they stopped like killing off their villains and had more progressive villains that keep returning.
Yeah.
Just like the heroes, like you keep the heroes growing and coming back, but the villains should be doing that too, you know? You don't need to keep killing them off. Gore the God Butcher could have came back and been more menacing. I'm just saying.
Freaking Bale, man. Christian
or even Claw. You killed off Claw and
Andy Serkis.
Age of Ultron. Stupid death. You're wasting it. Anyways, sorry. Back to Pirates of the Caribbean. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
The movie you're defending so wholeheartedly. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Cameron.
Well, let's see how much Cam defends it in these rankings. Dead Man's Chest and then Curse of the Black Pearl. That's where their rankings stand right now. So at World's End, I mean, if I was gonna give it a letter grade, I'd probably say a C plus, maybe B minus would be being generous, but it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. There's still good parts to it.
Yeah,
but
I'd say C plus.
Yeah, as we've talked through this and rewatching it, I just liked it less. So,
I mean, I'm definitely ranking it below the other 2.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think that's fair. Cam, I mean, I feel like it's going to be number 3.
Apparently, it gets worse, but I'm putting it below the other 2.
Yeah.
I feel like the other 2, like, yes, even though they get worse, like, kind of whatever, but they're easier to follow along with, I feel like. I haven't watched them in a long time, but
I've never watched the other 2. I've never watched 4 and 5.
Oh, this will be fun. You'll have plenty of times to take naps.
Yeah, we get to shit on 2 movies the next 2 weeks.
Listen, it's been a while.
I will say, Penelope Cruz, though, she's hot.
She's good looking. It's just that she doesn't really work with Johnny Depp in that movie, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I like her face.
Anyway, so Yeah, we're in
Pirate
agreement
wench.
that World's End goes in a distant third behind the first two.
Unless
Here we
listen,
go.
multiple of you have said that Endgame is better than Infinity War. So would this not be better than Dead Man's Chest by the same logic?
No,
I feel like Cameron must be
Ostensibly
bad
not.
at math because, like,
Cameron,
no
it's
matter
not.
what he says, like, we've already outranked him. So, like, just come on, just let's hear it.
Also,
Cameron,
Infinity War and Endgame are both great movies, and so
listen,
I would give this movie a solid like 81% out of 100.
is that crack? Is that crack you're smoking?
I mean, that is a B- grade, which is like if I was being generous, but I'll stick with my C+ though. So.
I think it deserves that at least.
Stop lying to yourself so that you can lie to us.
So good.
It was. You've already admitted. You have admitted that it was not. That you're just doing this just to be nice.
No, I can still point out all of the flaws that it has, but with what they did, I still think it was like an 80%. I think that's a B-. I think if I read this, I'd be like, that's a B-. I'd grade this a B-.
No.
All right. Well, 3 of us are saying a B+.
This movie is like, it's like a C-, and that's because I like the ending. Otherwise, it would be even lower. And apparently, the next one's worse.
My time of defending At World's End has come to an end. Let's give this shit a C-. This shit was a hard pill to swallow. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I did have fun in a lot of those scenes, but also I was just like, I haven't wanted to look at my phone more in any of the other movies. But this is just a lot of nonsense and bullshit when we could just get to the meat and potatoes of the whole goddamn thing. Why are we wasting so much time? Like, why is this movie 2 hours and 50 minutes? It could have been 2 hours flat and just been the good shit.
Or they could have just gave us more good shit.
Yeah.
And then you'd think, okay, they're making a 4th movie. Maybe this one will be good shit.
No, Pirates are like script doctors. We storyboarded a better movie with
right.
A lot of
I'm
elements.
saying.
If I have to remember the fondest memories from this movie, it's always going to be Jack Sparrow and Barbossa fighting in this movie. That's like the best part for me. So
I just love that part when they find out Elizabeth the King is the king, and Jack's just like, oh, they're just giving the bloody title away now. Like, I just love that.
No, that's not how she became king. That's how she became a pirate lord. She became king through Jack's vote.
Yes, Jack voted.
But like when they showed up and he found out she was like there, like as one of the kings, he was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was also kind of like a throwaway line that if you weren't paying attention, you kind of missed it. Like she stabs the world with her sword. He's just like, oh, they're just making anybody pirate. But like blink and you miss it, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite lines. I love anything he says. Just so funny.
Yeah, well, and then like I said, the politics line is also the best one of the best the movie. All right. Anyway, I think we're done.
That line's so much better.
But
no, I agree though. I used to do an Ontario Youth Parliament, so I get it.
Oh gosh, I gotta more questions about that later.
Yeah.
Oh no.
This is in a definite 3rd place behind Dead Man's Chest and Curse of the Black Pearl. And next week is on Stranger Tides. So
I'm real worried.
I haven't watched this movie for 13 years since it came out. So this is going to be interesting.
You know what? Maybe it holds up better than I remember when I watched it, because when I watched it, I was like, I really like these first 3 movies. And then I remember watching it and I was like, huh. But I'm going to go into this one with like a clean slate, and hopefully I don't hate it.
And hopefully you are. I'm wondering if you will defend on Stranger Tides more than at World's End.
I don't know if I'll defend it more, but it does have the guy from Hunger Games who I like. So that's a win.
Yeah, Ian McShane.
And mermaids. So score. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Spoilers, Kevin.
I'll still support Ian McShane, even though
Kevin is a fucking mermaid. He is a siren for real.
Sing us a song, Kevin. Sing us your siren song.
Or as Bonu says, mermaid dragon.
Don't bring.
I'm not looking forward to reviewing that either. God.
Yeah, we have to review Survivor 46 probably after we finish Pirates. 46 will be done, so we get to talk about Banu in a few weeks. Yay!
Yay!
All right. Well, we will end it here with the cam line. It can just be your little friend thing. I don't know. I never had kids. We'll see you next time for Pirates 4 on the Tribe of Nerds.